Howdy, howdy, this is Portland Stew here with some limited gameplay footage. We have, this will actually I think be 2 games between me on a Savior deck that I drafted in a 2-person Winston Draft with Sam here, and Sam on Spellslinger. Just playing out our starting sites. And yeah, I got the Savior in the draft, which is always a big advantage against Spellslinger. So, but I will be shorter on cards than Sam will be, having both the second player draw and the extra card from Spellslinger. So if Sam's able to stabilize against the Savior, Spellslinger may be able to pull it out in the long game. But yeah, pretty great start for me. I get the Shriek Sanctuary, I think it's called, that lets me kill beasts with 2 or less power whenever I summon a minion there, if I'd like. And then I get the Sarava Townsfolk, which is a 1 mana, 2 power mortal, so you can basically pay 2 mana with Savior to have a 2 power warded minion, which is a pretty ideal turn 2 play. It's basically a Holy Warrior, except you also have the option of just playing it without a ward, especially in like double spell scenarios. So I'm a really big fan of having Sarava or Eltham Townsfolk in Savior limited decks. So yeah, Sam doesn't have a turn 2 play, which that hurts a little for tempo. So I get in turn 3 for 2 damage with the Townsfolk. Sam had dropped the Fields of Fixus, so Shriek Sanctuary doing nothing now. It's silenced by the Fields of Fixus effect. But I drop a Spire after playing my site pretty defensively to the back row. And I think my thinking must be about trying to keep the avenues narrow in this game so that we just sort of force Sam to have to go head to head with my warded minions. And I drop out the Estranged Loner, which is a 2 power that when it dies summons a 3 power, so pretty great turn 3 drop. Sam gets the Driftwood Marrow, which is a really solid card and limited. It's a 3 power for 3 mana with a little bit of utility, and that you can play it in any deck because it's an artifact. He blocks the attack with the Townsfolk, and then so breaking the ward, taking 2 on the Driftwood, and then I come in with the Estranged Loner for 2 more on the Driftwood, allowing me to summon from the collection a Horrible Hybrids. So still decent value on that Driftwood Marrows, but the tempo's, pretty cleanly favoring me right now with 3 bodies on board. I drop out a Broomstick Witch with a ward as well, so it's looking rough for Sam. A Flame Strike here would be a big deal, or anything way that he could get some 2-for-1 value would really help. But even just starting to clear threats, like I said, you can trade 1-for-1 against a Savior with Spellslinger, you're sort of in line for a good game, right? Because you're gonna have sort of more cards de facto. It's just that if you're having to spend cards to break wards rather than spend cards to remove cards, that's when the Savior really starts to outvalue the Spellslinger, which is what usually happens. But there we go. Sam drops a Begone to banish the hybrid, and that's his turn. So at this point, Savior's already paid for itself. Sam's had to spend 2 cards, and I've only lost 1 card. So And I'm saying to Sam that my deck is mostly 2-drops, but 2-drops are pretty nice in Savior because they become warded easily. They're easy to afford the wards on. There's 4 damage pushed in with the Witch and the Townsfolk. I drop the Algae Bloom and going for the full Upside Down T, both of us. So we're both choosing the more defensive arrangement. And yeah, this is actually really good. I can play the, what are they called? The Ajkashklagnog crabs. They're a 2-mana beast, so I am able to pay 1 to ward it, and their power is equal to the number of voids in their row. So right now they're 4 power where they sit. If Sam plays a site forward, then they'll be 3 power. And yeah, that's a card that I was a little low on early in Gothic, but I think in the limited environment, if you play them right, because they have Void Walk too, you can usually situate them so that they'll be 3 power, and then it's 2 mana for 3 power. And then when they become 2 for 2, you know, that's not the end of the world. So they're definitely playable. It's not a card I'll pick highly. You're almost never gonna get to attack with them at 4 power, in my experience, although it looks like Sam had to tap for a site, so I might be able to get in 1 attack with the 4 power crab. And Sam's still evaluating his options. Yeah, just goes for the Trial by Fire on the Townsfolk, which doesn't feel great. You want to hit a 3 power with Trial by Fire if you can, but it's still a 1-for-1, which is definitely, we said, the goal. Anytime we can 1-for-1 against Savior, we're keeping the game a little more stable. And then I swing in for 6 damage total with the 4 power crab and the 2 power witch. And then we can see I've got the ice shards in hand too, which will be a great finisher. So I play the Pith Imp, steal a card out of Sam's hand. Pith Imp, when it comes into play, it steals a random spell from the opponent and it holds on to it. Pith Imp can't by nature cast the spell, but if it ever is granted the spellcaster ability, it can. So things like Wicked Tools can pair really well with Pith Imp. And it's also just, I don't know, in this Winston format, a lot of time it's hard to get the playables because you end up drafting more than 2 elements just because you have to take the good cards when you see them. And oh, Sam, I think Sam has been holding on to that accursed tower for a while, hoping to get many wards with it. And yeah, he gets to remove 2 wards by just playing a site, which is perfect. And there's the Dreadwing. He's going to discard his own Pith Imp. And that's looking real nice for Sam. He's got a 4 power in the air. I've got nothing on board that can really take it down, so provided I don't have a really good answer, Sam's in a good position here. Though he's taking a lot of damage, so there is some concern. Oh, and I've got the Murder Crows in hand. Oh, there it is. So the witch casts the ice shards, which that hurts to spend my door knocker to kill the Dreadwing. And so witch does 2 to Dreadwing and 1 to the avatar. Then witch attacks the Dreadwing for the last 2. So I just 2 for 1. I spent 2 spells to remove 1 card from Sam. Although Sam did have to discard a card when he played it and wasn't able to discard a site. because he didn't have a site in hand to do that with, but still a very suboptimal trade for me. But at this point, I've got the tempo and I'm just trying to push in that last little bit of damage. But I'm sure I anguished a little bit about playing that ice shards because it's a real nice kill spell. And I would have loved to be able to use the Murder of Crows. I wonder if I should have just attacked with the crab to see if I draw out the block, and then if he did block the crab, then I could have Murder of Crows, finish off the Dreadwing, and save the ice shards. So that's probably a slight misplay from me, not trying to get that exchange first. And yeah, we see Sam starting to stabilize here on 4 health, so I think it's still scary, but the Gibbous Night Gaunt is a 3-power flyer. We'll definitely be able to trade out with my crab if I attack with the crab, so pretty ideal sort of game staller. And at this point I don't have anything that is within, that's ready to strike Sam's sights except for the crab. Oh my gosh, and here we go. I played Slimy Mutants using its card text, which says you can pay 3 to transform a minion with Submerge, and the crabs actually have Submerge and Void Walk. So that is a big play for me. Even though it kind of wastes a card, it means I have a 4-power, and so the Gibbous can't even trade out with the block. So Sam just takes the 4 damage and goes to door. And now, 20 to door is not an ideal place to be. We'll see what Sam can pull out here. So the Slimy Mutants, usually you're hoping to transform a frog token into Slimy Mutants. That's like the natural use of it, and a lot of times if you can get those Croaking Swamps, which are pretty easy to pick up in drafts, they pair really well with Slimy Mutants, basically turning it into a 3-mana, 4-power charge minion. That really cost you 4 if you paid 1 for the frog token as well, but also pairs great with Gift of the Frog. Here we go, Fallen Angel, granting +1 to allied demons, so now the Gaunts are big enough to take out the Slimy Mutants. And yeah, now I've got Sam on door, but I don't know if I've got any tricks to end the game. I play a sight, and I can see a 10-ton slug in my hand. Sort of start moving forward with the drowned there. They're a 3-power. Oh, and there we go. That's actually a pretty nice potential finisher. So by playing Undead Ambush, targeting the Avatar, I get a skeleton on each other adjacent site, so sort of surrounding the Avatar. And so that's 3 attackers in range, but the Avatar is going to be able to move over to that active volcano, and the Angel can kill the skeleton there before it moves. So and we can see, I think Sam's got, well, maybe not a bunch more cards, but at this point, if I had held on to that Ice Lance, I would have been sitting pretty, right? But instead, I've got to sort of try and scrape together a kill somehow. And I think I just chose not to play anything on my turn. Or no, it's Sam's turn. Okay, so Sam drops the Ghoul and the Enraged Familiar. 5 mana spent. He taps for sight. Oh, this is bold. So he decides to just leave 3 blockers. But I think that means I've got the kill because, yeah, I hear myself in the game footage reminding myself how Enraged Familiar works. So I can cast. Oh, and look, Sam actually caught. We missed this in the game, but the Murder of Crows double cast doesn't kill the Enraged Familiar because it is it's actually 3 power, not 2 power, because it's a demon. Oh man, so Sam should have been able to stay in that game longer. But yeah, so that would have been real close. I could have still sort of attacked with each of my minions and then double Murder of Crowed to clear Sam's board, but that's too bad. So an undeserved win for the Savior, but we didn't catch it. So here's game 2. Sam on the play this time gets out a Plague Rats, a great opening minion, super potent on the defense. We're both playing Spire first, which is, it's never good in a 2-person Winston draft if you're in the same element as each other. Because then we were fighting over the good cards in air. And yeah, no starting play for the Savior. Stu. Sam does a second Spire and Gossamer Ghost. This is looking much better for the Spellslinger. 2 minions on board out the start. And yeah, Gossamer Ghost stealth, so hard for me to hit. And so I play the Drowned underneath a stream. So that's a 3 power minion that must be played submerged. So that ends my turn with the Drowned. So Sam goes for the spell. Looks like it's a Trial by Fire. And he's surely got another sight in there. Got the active Volcano, so really great threshold out the gate. Like he's moving forward without attacking. Makes sense. I think Sam passed turn there, so I'm debating. I decided to go for a spell. I've got I think it's called the Shriek Orchard in hand, the air sight I had in game 1. And yeah, I've got some solid stuff in hand. So Shriek Orchard, and that's ferocious because the Plague Rat can be killed if I cast a minion to that site. I can instantly kill the Plague Rats. So funny, this site, I have not seen it have an effect before. So I play out a Vampire Bats onto the Shriek Orchard. Maybe they have to be nearby. I don't know why the Plague Rat didn't die. Oh yeah, it has to be a nearby beast. So the good thing the plague rat wasn't nearby to that site. But now I've stabilized. I think Sam not being able to play a 3-drop really hurt. He was up on tempo before that. Nice. Drops out the Accursed Tower. Always great to get a ward for free. And Sam goes for attacking the site, losing stealth, and then Trial by Fire is the drowned 3 damage that may be cast from any ally. So pretty solid turn. Sam's still slightly up on the board, but yeah, we're talking about whether Sam should move the rat up, but because of the Shriek Orchard now, it's sort of rat wants to stay back, but that means it's only protecting 2 of Sam's 4 sites. So I go for a spell, tap for a site. Nice. Oh, that's really lucky for me. So I have the Hollow One in hand, the 3 mana 4 power minion that's disabled until I think a nearby beast or mortal dies. So then I sack that Vampire Bats into the Gossamer Ghost. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but that activates my 4 power minion for 3 costs. Pretty nice card. The Hollow One, or the Hollow One's a card that I was really low on early in Limited, but actually in Air, you have, I don't know, there's just enough mortals and beasts that I think it's playable in many Limited decks. Like, it's not a card that you love to play, but if you know you've got, if a significant percentage of your 1 and 2 drops are beasts or mortals, right, and you're running 5 to 7 of 5 to 7 1 to 2 drops, and at least 80% are beast or mortal, then we've actually got a pretty good chance of being able to turn on the Hollowed One. So yeah, and Sam was actually the person who talked me into playing it. I saw Sam playing it in a Limited deck, and he was able to sort of, activate the Hollow One more often than I expected. And then I was like, well, yeah, there's so many things out there that could die, and it's all about just timing when you play it, so that you're playing it right before you do the thing that you know will wake it up. So that's my turn. Sam drew a spell for turn and then tapped for a sight. Plays out a Flaming Skull. A very solid 2-drop, and then passes turn. So no answer to the Hollow One on the board yet, which hurts. But we're both at 20 life, so I swing in for 4. Sam takes the damage. I tap to play a sight. Water, nice, so I'm double 2 of each threshold, which is generally where you want to be. And then the Strange Loner with the ward, which is pretty funny. I don't know, I think it's still really high value, but it is funny to sort of ward a minion who gets stronger when it dies, but doesn't mean you get more use out of it. I think I see the Be Gone in Sam's hand right now, which is great for handling the Hollow One. But I think he's maybe considering if he can find a way to handle the Estranged Loner. I mean, with the Estranged Loner warded, you basically have to kill it 3 times. The first time you kill it, it loses a ward. The second time, it summons a horrible hybrid, and the third time, you finally clear that 1 card. So very painful play against the warded Estranged Loner. Sam drops out the Desert Bloom. And he's got 5 mana, lots of thresholds. Thinking deeply about this. Couldn't quite catch what else is in his hand. Like my hand's got an Ice Shards, Undead Ambush, Murder of Crows, all cards we saw last game as well. Ice Shards. Funny, Ice Shards is the only triple shot projectile in Gothic, which I didn't really think about, but triple shot projectile is, I think, one of the better removal / door knocker archetypes in the game, because it can do things like break a ward and kill a minion. You can divide up the damage and do things where you sort of like kill one thing and trade another. Okay, so he ignited to pop the ward and Flaming Skull. Oh, he's taking it back. Okay. He decided not to do the ignited. Okay, no, he's still doing the ignited and then just begons. I think the idea there is that now, if he trades with the Estranged Loner, the horrible hybrid won't be able to attack on my turn. I think that's a pretty good decision on Sam's part. He does risk me removing the Flaming Skull, which I could step forward and Ice Shards, probably get the skull and the rat, but I think, yeah, this makes sense. And now at least the horrible hybrids has Summoning Sickness on my turn, so really good, making the best out of a tough situation there. From Sam, oh, I've got the Assimilator Snail in hand, but I just pull out the Snellygaster, which is a 3 power +1 movement spirit, so it can be warded. And yeah, that's a painful. Snellygasters are really great ordinary. I've actually come to this point where I think Air just has the best 3-drop ordinaries in the set. Like Snallygaster, Screamer, and Ghoul. It's just like a great trifecta of 3-drops. And even Hollow One is like a solid 3-drop that's more playable than you think. Sam does the I think Sam made a little mistake there, where he drew a sight for turn to be able to discard it to the Dreadwing, and he probably meant to draw a spell and then tap for the sight to discard to Dreadwing, but now he's got the Dreadwing, so that's a 4-power blocker that I don't have much recourse against. And that's the sort of opportunity Sam needs, is to start getting 2-for-1s. So I play, and so he got a 1.5 for 1 there, right? But also the Murder of Crows clears the Plague Rats, so that hurts a little. We get 3 in with the Snallygaster. Murder of Crows left me with 1 mana left, so and now I've got that murder sitting in the bin for another 1 damage to all enemy minions. That Murder of Crows, if you're not familiar with it, 3 mana, 2 Air Threshold, does 1 damage to all enemy minions, and it may be recast from the cemetery and banished afterwards, so pretty powerful card, I think. Yeah, one of the standout air cards in Gothic, especially at the ordinary rarity. And yeah, air water has just become one of my go-to combinations, and watching this game back again, I see why, but that is one heck of a card to drop. I think it's Ophanim. It's one of the sort of cycle of elite angels, not archangels. All of them are 6 mana, 3 threshold. There's 1 in each color. They're all 4 power ward with some other abilities. Opening's other abilities are Void Walk and Movement +1. And yeah, that's a pretty scary sight for me. I think I'm about to drop the Croaking Swamp. Not sure if I have the Slimy Mutant in hand, but this is that combo we talked about earlier where it's really easy to pick up a Croaking Swamp a lot of the time, and being able to transform that frog into a Slimy Mutant to cheat out the Slimy Mutant and sort of give it charge. Because when a minion is transformed, it will only have summoning sickness if the original minion was summoned that turn as well. But so I'm going to pop the Murder of Crows to break the ward on the opening at least. That's 4 mana spent. Then I use my last mana to ward the frog. A nice thing to remember with Savior is that Savior can pay 1 to ward any minion that was summoned this turn. There's no limit to the number of times you do that, and there's no requirement that you do it when you play the minion. So I can play a minion, do other stuff, and then at the end of my turn, if I still have a leftover mana, I can then choose to play the ward, which is what I did there. Pith Imp comes out, stealing a random card. He gets my Assimilator Snail. So, Assimilator Snail, while Pith Imp's still on the board. As smart as Sam to not play out the Pith Imp earlier, because now that Murder of Crows is fully spent, his 1-drops are a little safer. And yeah, I think Sam had to do some 2-for-1 trades to deal with my warded things. So now he Trial by Fire in combination with attacking. He could do that in either order to break the ward and clear the minion. Sam's got the stronger board state, but no spells in hand, and that really hurts. But he's got the bigger threat. We'll see if I can pull out any sort of big play. If I do... Oh, there it is. Nice. Vesper Swarm. 5 mana, 4 power airborne, and once you break the ward on the Openim, it's barely better than a Vesper Swarm, right? They're both 4 power airborne. I mean, Openim's got more mobility and has the Void Walk, but yeah, now we sort of both have a 4 power flyer in the air. If they trade out 1 for 1, then I'm feeling good in the card advantage race. So, see what Sam does here. And the Pith Imp, I mean, Pith Imp's an interesting card that I felt not great. Like, I've always been of the opinion that Pith Imp isn't really worth playing, but a lot of people have made compelling arguments to the contrary to me. And I'm sort of starting to believe. I still haven't loved it when I've played it. I've started to try running it more. So Pith Imp, right, the math on it is it's kind of a guaranteed 1 for 1 in the sense that, like, you play it to your back corner like Sam has done. It's pretty hard to clear. I mean, a Murder of Crows would clear it. Sam tries to attack in for 4, and I do the trade here. So Pith Imp removes a card from your opponent's hand, which means, oh man, Vandal Imp, that's a terrible top deck. Vandal Imp's a 1 power minion whose Genesis destroys a random artifact. So yeah, that's a tough draw for your top deck there from Sam. I drop out the Algae Bloom, and I got lots of options. Looks like I go for the Drowned, probably the Broomstick Witch. Yeah, there it is. And I guess is all aboard the Broomstick Witch. Yep, you know it. So back to Pith Imp. Pith Imp steals the card, so your opponent's down a card, but they'll get that card back if Pith Imp's ever killed. So a 2-mana, 1 for 1 kind of, but it's 1 for an unplayed 1. To me, seems like a bad proposition. But the point that's been made to me is that it's because of when you play it, you're almost, if you don't play it like turn 2, if you play it turn 5, turn 6, it's a cheap card that has a high chance of removing the card they've been building to from their arsenal. And so even though it's removing something that's not on the board yet, which feels, less than ideal, it is so I fly the Broomstick Witch forward without attacking. I move up the ground and I undead ambush the ghoul to get out 4 skeletons. So pretty strong board state. But yeah, so the Pith Imp has the chance of sort of keeping the bomb off the board. And I think that's its best use, actually. Like, the other thing is, obviously, if you can get Awakened Tools and cast your opponent's spell, then Awakened Tools cycles, so then you've effectively gotten a 2-for-1. You spent a card that costs you no cards, got a 1-power body on the board, and got to remove a card from their deck, from their hand, and play it yourself. So that's a great value exchange if you can pull it off, but it's 2 cards in your deck for this kind of expensive. You have to spend a bunch of mana to do all that, to deal with a thing that your opponent has not spent mana on. And so in the tempo exchange world, Pith Imp doesn't really help you on tempo usually, but it can help you in sort of removing possibilities, and sometimes that can have a huge payout, and sometimes it can even, you can high roll it with the Awakened Tools. So yeah, I know I've been talking a lot about the Pith Imp, but it's just a really interesting debate I still haven't decided how I feel about. Then Sam uses a ghoul to clear a skeleton, and then drops the Willing Tribute, which is an interesting choice. Like, yeah, because he can't use the Willing Tribute to double clear with the ghoul right now, but at least now he's got some bodies. I don't have anything super impressive. I do have my ice shards in hand still, but I wonder if this game I'm going to try a little harder to save it for when it's useful. So I attack at the Willing Tribute. I attack at the Vandal Imp, the Willing Tribute blocks the skeleton. Then I attack with the Drowned. I think Vandal Imp is going to chump. Looks like Sam's debating whether to chump with the Vandal Imp or if there's something else he'll be able to do with it. He decides not to chump block with the Vandal Imp, so Drowned pushes 3 damage. Skeleton pushes 1. Technically the Pith Imp could block that if it wants. Play out a Sea Witch, and ward it, I guess. Yeah, Sea Witch, I guess a little nicer, and Savior, because it's a wardable 2-power. Ain't shabby. And see if I do anything with the Broomstick Witch. I think I'm considering burning up that ice shards to clear the ghoul, which isn't crazy, but I'm already in the driver's seat here, so I think holding the ice shards to be able to do something with it. So that I just move the Broomstick Witch over there so that next turn I can hunt down the Vile Imp with it. I don't know why I didn't attack. Yeah, kind of silly, but maybe his avatar was untapped and he could have double blocked. I wasn't really paying attention to that, but I don't think so. So yeah, Sam's up. See if he drew the big play or not. Because I feel so awful playing Savior in Limited. I really think Savior just... If you can build even a third of your minions are wardable, Savior is just guaranteed to have more value than Spellslinger, basically. So he moves the Pithim over. I guess that allows him to leave the avatar untapped and do the double block if I try and use the Broomstick Witch to kill the Pithim, which is a pretty good thought on his part. So he breaks the ward, and he's considering, oh, there it is. So he uses the Ravenous Werewolf, really good move, to kill the thing. Oh, and so Sam attacks him for 2 with the Willing Tribute, and then sacks the Willing Tribute, and uses the Ravenous Werewolf to clear another skeleton. That's the dream. That Willing Tribute is so good. Like, that ability to swing with it and then use its ability is such just a great tempo move, such a cool combat trick. You know, Sam basically got to do a 2-for-1 off of sacking that. I think we technically missed that the Ravenous Werewolf should be dead from having fought the Witch and the Skeleton. That's 3 damage total, but I don't know, style points, I think the Ravenous Werewolf can take it. And right now we've gotten distracted. I've taken to putting sort of something on top of each of my decks to help me remember not to just like autopilot draw, so that I think about what card I'm going to draw at the start of each of my turns. Because I have a bad habit of autopilot drawing a spell, and every once in a while there's a turn where you really needed to draw that sight to pull off a key maneuver. And so I'm using this commemorative Frank Frazetta coin that was given out to everyone who did cosplay at Sorcery Con, and some of the other folks around our Friday casual meetup at the Portland Game Store are checking out the cool Frazetta art on that. It's got the Frazetta Death Dealer art on one side, and then Frank Fazetta's face on the other. So I untap. I think we're still just discussing Sorcery Con at this point and how awesome it was. It was great. I know both Sam and I were there and had a blast. So I swing in for 1 with the Skelly. I'm saying how I really want the card back. Oh, this is annoying. I can't believe. So I used the makeshift barricade as basically a funny workaround removal. I put it on the site where the werewolf is, and then attack my drowned in makeshift barricade when an ally or multiple allies would take damage here, prevent it. If the damage is 3 or more, destroy makeshift barricade. So drowned was able to attack and then not die, but get to kill the Ravenous Werewolf. And then I use my ice shards like a dummy. I think that's the wrong move. To use the ice shards in that moment, but I just want to clear Sam's board, which there's nothing that feels better than a full clear of someone's board. Then by clearing the ghoul, I can attack with the Broomstick Witch and get my Assimilator Snail back from the Pithim. Sam on his turn attacks in with the Spell Slinger to kill my skeleton, takes 1 damage, but it's often worth it to take some damage on your avatar if you can clear a rectangle with it. And then plays out a Raised Militia, gets a skeleton on each site adjacent to an opponent's site. I try to swing in with the Drowned. Here Sam here is debating whether to chump or to try and save his skeletons and triple attack in. I think it's right to chump because I haven't played a card yet and there's a good chance I'll get a blocker out. And yeah, I have the Broomstick Witch, which could have cleared one of them as well, so holding on to the skeletons for that mass attack maneuver isn't going to do anything. So I just clear 2 skeletons using the Broomstick Witch and the Drowned. Play out the Assimilator Snail. Once on your turn, you may banish a dead minion. The Assimilator Snail becomes a copy of it until your next turn, I think is how it reads. Yeah, until your next turn. So not sure what I'll make it on this turn. Probably something, I'm not going to go for the really high value ones on the turn that has Summoning Sickness, just something strong enough to keep it alive. Ravenous Werewolf. Oh, as Sam points out to me, I remember this now. I was going to just do something silly, and Sam was like, well, you know, if you take the Ravenous Werewolf, then your Assimilator Snail will have charge, because it's a copy of a minion with charge. And I did not even consider that possibility until Sam pointed it out. So, what an upstanding, classy sorcery player that Sam is. Especially after, I mean, we didn't realize on the night, but that previous game, my undeserved, you know, my victory with the winning move being an illegal move, you know, that was too bad. But Sam helps advise me on how to put even more pressure on him. So drops a Drowned on his turn, swings in with his 1 remaining skeleton. Makes some sense. It's not really, he's not going to be able to stop the door. Breaks the ward on my frog. It's not unreasonable, but maybe a little futile. And I think I asked Sam to take his Dreadwing. So yeah, I swing in with the Dreadwing to door. Not sure why I tapped the Broomstick Witch. And I cast a Gift to the Frog, so it was looking pretty tough. Yeah, Sam puts out his hand. He doesn't have enough blockers to prevent the kill. So, yeah, really good game. Sam put up a valiant effort. I think that's just, you know, the avatar advantage of having the savior is just so hard. But what a cool Winston draft. I just love Winston drafting. We've been doing it almost every Friday night for many weeks now. It's just great because we can do it with however many people we have. We've done 2-person, 3-person, 4-person. If we have more than 4 people, we usually switch to just a regular draft. But we've also talked about just doing pods, like you know, like you could do 2 pods of 3 and Winston draft. You don't really want to Winston draft with more than 4 people in a group. But yeah, really fun activity. Always a blast playing with Sam. And we hope you enjoyed this Rose City Sorcery broadcast of some live limited gameplay. Hope you have a great day. Bye.